Yeah, so I know Stephen Greer's talked about that forever, right? Yes, absolutely. If they have the free energy device, which they have free energy already. This is 0 points out there, and they're taking out these scientists. So they're trying to say, hey, we need to.
People say that I'm one of the greats, I'm the one that you love to hate. Shake 'em up like a quake, pop your feelings and turn and dispose them like haters I throw away. I'm forever blessed, got the spirit that's holy controlling me, I ain't gotta coordinate. I just sit back and buckle my bells and I'm ready to blaze in the stars of my destination. Melted broadcast, open vision, melted broadcast, open vision, melted broadcast, open vision, melted broadcast, open vision. What's going on, everyone? It's Tony Mars with the Melted Broadcast. And today we have Andrew Radziewicz, aka the Psychic Firefighter, who has gone from first responder as a FDNY firefighter to a final responder as a funeral arranger, conductor, and embalmer in the funeral industry in Australia, and now a full-time intuitive psychic medium. Andrew's relationship with the other side is unlike any other medium in the world due to his past professional experiences working for a decade and a half as a paramedic and New York City firefighter, helping people in the most dire of situations, serving the public, and helping people through their toughest times. Andrew has read thousands of people from all walks of life. He has appeared on actor Army Hammer's Army Hammer Time podcast, on socialite Rachel Uchitel's Misunderstood podcast, on the renowned Jeff Mara podcast, on Fox News, New York Post, ABC, and other prominent media platforms. Learn more about his work at psychicfirefighter.com and follow him on Instagram at psychicfirefighter. He is also a UFO contactee and currently being in Close Encounters Down Under on Amazon Prime and in a three-part multi-award winning peer-reviewed film Contact. What's up, Andrew?
Hey, thanks for having me on. It's great to be here.
Good to finally have you on, man. I know we had kind of rescheduled it one time, but I got you on. You're finally here.
Yeah. The timing is perfect, right? What a time to be here. What a time to talk with all the stuff going on in the world and all this UFO confirmation, I like to say, right? Because we already know it's real, but it's nice to confirm with everyone else out there that it's real.
Yeah, for sure. I was we had talked about this earlier. I was kind of wondering why they dropped the files right now, if there's some sort of agenda. But I mean, we could get into that later. Right
Sure.
now, why don't we start from the beginning? Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into this.
Yeah, so I grew up in New York, and then when I was like 18, 19 years old, didn't know exactly what to do with life, so I joined the Coast Guard, and when I was in the Coast Guard, I had a UFO sighting. Now, at the time, I thought maybe I was just like in the right place, right time, wrong place, wrong time, something like that,
Yeah,
you know? I basically saw two round silverish objects off the front of the boat at night after midnight. I was the lone night watchman, so I was looking at regular binoculars, night vision, goggles. This is 1999, so maybe first generation they had at that time. I don't know exactly, but they were
yeah,
decent, you know? Um, and, you could see way more of the sky with night vision. It was the first time I ever looked through night vision before. And I just saw these objects moving, and I called down to the officer on duty. He came up. Next thing I know, there's like 20 of us up there. We're all looking at these objects for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that. And then the two objects merged together and they just vanished. No trace, no trail, no sound. We did not have everything detected on our radar. They did not communicate with us, vice versa. And in 1999, that was extremely dangerous. When people say to me, these are, black ops programs or whatever, I'm
yeah,
like, okay, that could be. But if that was, we had the right in 1999. I don't know about now, but in 1999, we could have engaged with them. If they didn't respond to us, we had the
yeah,
right to take them out. That would have been extremely dangerous to do, to put 72 sailors and everyone else at risk and do that. But yes, I would say with everything else that happened in my life after that, right? That was like the spark of, okay, something is going on. Where at the time, I didn't quite realize that. I just thought maybe I'm just seeing this. Is this a big deal? Isn't it a big deal? But that really, really opened me up to Hey, did anyone else ever see anything? Is it just me? Am I the only one out there? Has anyone ever seen any weird things that were in the service before?
Yeah.
Um,
So I have to ask. So being that you're in the Coast Guard, this is official military. I'm sure there's like a protocol, a SS, a standard protocol procedure that, they have to go through this. Did you have to like make an official statement and, it like go up the chain of command?
So after I thought it was going to be this huge thing, like I get briefed or, something brought in a room or, I don't know, something's going to go down, right? How could they not? This is like, to me, this is the first time I saw something like that and it was
Yeah.
close. You know what I mean? So no, no one ever said anything. Like, don't say anything. I don't know what they did. I'm certain they filed a report. They have to. But as far as on my end, no one ever told me don't talk about it. So that's why. I said, well, no one's ever said to me, hey, don't say anything. And the Coast Guard, too, right? Being out at sea,
Yeah.
sometimes you go on retrievals. You know what I mean? You go on retrievals, you don't even know what it's for. You could be picking up debris, and they don't necessarily always tell you. You're just retrieving some sort of metal or something out of the ocean, and you're like, we don't even know what this is from, right? But no, nothing ever happened officially with me. So no, I was never intimidated or frightened or scared or anything to come forward. I just know my officers that I spoke with, they were like, you're going to see a lot of things unless there's like a direct threat or something that got extremely close and, did something weird. Don't even worry about it. You're going to see tons of things like this in your career.
Well, that's wild. I know, people that go out to sea, they see, I think they call them USOs or something like that.
Yeah.
There's the
Yep.
big thing with the USS Nimitz where they saw
Yep.
orbs. My brother-in-law was actually on the Nimitz, and he had did, I guess they call it a deployment, and he had seen some stuff too. He had shot us some videos, but I mean he never really talked about it. But it makes me
Wow.
think about, them not really trying to take it up the chain of command with you or with anybody else. If it's one of those things, how somebody will come on the news that, oh, so and so did something so bad, but then later on, nobody talks about it. And it's one of those things like if you don't talk about it, nobody's gonna remember about it.
Right. And, I think too, whenever I hear about people coming forward or these whistleblowers or whatever, to me, a lot of things seem like too perfect. Okay. It's just way too perfect for what they saw and how they're relaying it, experiencing it, seeing it the way I did. It's not like that. It's a mess. It's crazy. It's chaotic. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And just the way that they're rolling a lot of stuff out, it just seems too perfect and planned. Whereas what I saw was raw and organic. And I don't know, maybe perhaps I've over the years heard things too that, they know who experiences are from a young age. They kind of keep an eye on them and they know certain ones that are more, likely to come forward and share the
yeah,
story and they let certain people do that and then they try to deter others. So maybe I just wasn't deterred from sharing anything I've gone through because that's how I am with people. Unless someone says, hey, please don't talk about this, it's a private matter, that's different. But anything I've seen, I share with people because it's so important to get that out.
yeah. And why do you think it's so important?
Well, I always saw years ago that we'd be heading in this direction where, we're literally right now where we are, where we could talk about this openly. And I knew, well, I felt that if I didn't bring this forward, I wasn't waiting on someone else to do it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's always like, hey, wait till the government comes forward. Wait till this person. Wait till the other people what about the other people you're on the boat with? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, a lot of them are still working. That was 1999. They're still active duty. They're not going to talk. They're still in the
yeah,
guard.
for sure.
So you know what I mean? I just had a friend retire though, who said, I want to talk now, man. Let's do a YouTube. Where I'm like, all right, man, finally. So, but I get it. I'm not waiting on anyone. Sometimes people don't want to deal with this mess, but I just felt like I know once I came forward and shared this too. In 2011, I met Stephen Greer and I met all these other military and regular people that have had experiences. And I'm like, I knew I'm right where I'm supposed to be with sharing this because I'm
Yeah.
not alone now,
Yeah,
you
Stephen
know?
Greer's kind of intense. I like the dude, but
Yeah, I
he's
get.
he's on a whole nother level.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I met the best people there that I'm still in touch with to this day. Like one guy, James Iandoli. He's got a podcast engaging the phenomena. I met him in Stephen Greer's CE5 group in California. Didn't
Oh
realize, hey,
wow.
we actually live near each other in New York. And then we're like, dude, we gotta get together in New York. And then we had a decade of CE5 work together, me and James. Amazing.
So whenever you go through these C5 protocols, how does that usually work? Because I know you could download the app, and I have a buddy of mine who kind of tweaked the process a little bit, and he gave me, like some step by steps on what to do that seemed to work
Sure.
for him. But how would it happen? Like, say, whenever you went, what was the situation, the protocol that you guys went through, and what did you guys see?
So basically, the easiest way, like when I explain this to people, is quieting the mind, right? You can't silence it, but just like, your radio's on 10 all the time, you want to get it down to as close to zero as you can. So you got to remove all that back noise. So just, right, no sounds, no nothing in the background, just sit in the silence. And when you get closer to the silence, with my experience, then you'll see more. So when you're sitting and doing CE5, you try to sit in a quiet area if possible, not near any light pollution, not near an airport, if you can. I've done it right next to airports just to try it, but I recommend being out on the beach or out in the middle of nowhere. Because, then you don't have to
Yeah,
question, hey, is that a drone? Or then you got to worry about, radars and all that nonsense. So if you sit quiet, right, you quiet your mind. And then in my mind, this is how I was told to do it, show where you are. So I'm projecting, okay, right now I'm in Melbourne, Australia. I'm going to project that out into the cosmos. I'm going to send that signal out with that vibration or frequency, and I'm going to show an extraterrestrial. This is where I am. Where are you? Where in the cosmos are you? And then for me, the way that I know that they're receiving the signal,
yeah,
boom, the craft appears. Because I'm like, oh, wow, that's for me. Now that craft is appearing. And when I do it, I look in one spot in the sky. I'm not scanning the whole
yeah.
sky. So wherever I'm looking exactly, boom, the object comes. I'm like, and now this is 16 years later doing this.
Have they ever tried to talk to you like telepathically or anything like that?
Yeah, most of it is telepathic. When they do speak, it sounds robotic. And what I mean is, we had magnetometers when I met Dr. Stephen Gray, this device. You can get them in the CE5 app. They have a magnetometer on the iPhone you could use,
Yeah,
but you could actually get the device. And when they communicate, it's like, "Row, row, row." That's what it sounds like, at least. But the telepathy was instantly from the first night I had contact, I started seeing images, peaceful loving images, stop war, like all the stuff you hear.
no way.
Nothing, yeah, like instantly, like, hey, we don't need to do this. There's another way. Keep going, keep going. I'm like, okay, keep going. Nothing crazy, no abduction, no probe. I've never had anything like that happen, just like a,
Yeah,
a real lovely message. So that's why I kept doing it. If it was bad, I wouldn't keep doing this.
yeah. So when did these things start happening to you? Like at what age? How far back can you remember whenever you started having these kind of experiences and finding out that you had these psychic abilities?
So as a kid, I'd watch Unsolved Mysteries with my grandmother. And that was great because, just like art or movies or whatever, like opens you up to possibilities or dreaming or keeping yourself open, creativity. So whenever watching that, for some reason, I just felt drawn and I'm like, well, maybe that's possible. And my grandma was like, maybe it is. And then I said to her, well, when you go there one day, like to heaven, give me a sign. And she's like,
Yeah,
okay. And then that was in like 1993. Well, she kept up her end of this, to we're going in 1993. I'm 13. She says, okay, hold up your end. I'll hold up mine. In the meantime, too, I had a couple of friends pass away. One was five when I was five, one when I was 13. After they passed, I would see their apparition. Okay. I would see their outline. Now, when my friend passed away when I was 13, I didn't know he passed yet. He's supposed to come over to my house. I wasn't there, whatever. That night, I remember waking up in the middle of the night, seeing his apparition. And I just
yeah,
thought, he's like, I'm okay. And I'm like, what do you mean? You weren't at my house? You weren't at my house. He's like, don't worry, everything's okay. And I'm like, what does he mean? And then the next day I found out he passed away. And I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. I went to his house and he had like a 5-year-old brother, and
yeah,
his mom didn't want to tell his brother. And his brother, she goes, yeah, his brother said last night he woke up in the middle of the night and his brother was standing in the corner telling him everything was okay. And I'm like, he goes, we didn't tell him he passed you. Like we didn't say anything. He didn't know anything yet. And then this morning, we related to him. I'm like, oh my, this is like crazy. Like I didn't tell them anything yet. I just listened to that and I'm like, so something I feel was like trying to come, whatever that is. I feel like he or his soul or whatever is out there was trying to communicate to me like it's okay for what's about to come.
Yeah, that's wild, man. I've had my grandpa come to me one time after he had passed, and what's wild is he had came and visited me, my little brother, and my older brother's son the night
Wow.
prior. And I had told my mom about it, like, hey, I had this dream. And she was like, Anthony, did you talk to your little brother? And I'm like, no, why? And she had told me that, my brother had the same thing. He had a dream about my grandpa. And I don't remember what she said had happened. And then my little nephew, who I don't think he ever met him, he saw him in the backyard of their house, like while he was awake. It wasn't a dream. And he described him
Wow.
to the T.
Wow.
Yeah, and I just
Wow.
I just think, things like that are is wild but special. That people that have passed on, they're still finding this way to come back or however, what happens and communicate with their loved ones.
Yeah. I watch Unsolved Mysteries, but I wasn't actively engaging, and trying to do that. I was just like, hey, maybe this is possible. That happens with my friends. I lived a whatever normal regular life, played high school football, ice hockey, played sports and stuff. And then I go on the Coast Guard. After the Coast Guard, my grandmother passed away around 2010. And right after she passed, basically, me and my mom went out to eat after my grandmother died. And there was a psychic at the restaurant, and he told us some things. And I'm like, all right, maybe, I'm open, I'm skeptical. Maybe maybe this is real, maybe it's not. I don't know. Well, then I was living in a coastal area. I went through a
Yeah.
horrible flood, lost everything I had. And then after that, I went on a spiritual journey and I started traveling all over learning meditation. And then through meditation, these things started to open up. I became a firefighter in 2006. 2010, my grandmother passed. Right after that, we got hit with Hurricane Sandy in Long Island.
Oh,
My
wow.
house was
Okay.
underwater, floating, like literally floating in the ocean. And then after that, I went on the journey and then learned this meditation. Then I traveling the world, doing all this stuff. And tapping into this, not telling anyone. I don't want anyone in the firehouse to know. I was just doing this on the
Yeah.
side. I wasn't calling myself psychic. I was just like, hey, I can meditate and tap into something else, but I don't know if I'm actually psychic. And then by, tapping into this over and over and meditating daily and then trying to do this with people, eventually people were like, yeah, this is accurate. What you're seeing is accurate. And I'm like, I couldn't believe it. It took a long time to really believe it because I'm like, I want to make sure 100% that
Yeah.
what I'm doing is spot on accurate before I do this to anyone or anything else. You know what I mean? Because this is a serious thing. If you are
Yeah, for sure.
claiming that you're connecting with people's loved ones or people's memories, you better be doing it. You better not be
Yeah.
lying. You know what I
Yeah, because
mean?
that's
You better
yeah,
be
that's
certain.
yeah, that's super personal. I know I
Oh,
would
yeah.
yeah, I know I'd feel some type of
Yeah,
way if
of course.
someone's over there just, kind of pulling my chain about it, just try to make a buck.
Right. And it's like, hey, did you have a friend, do you know somebody named John that died of cancer? Yeah, everyone does. Like, stop. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You gotta, of course you have, or your uncle, but no, but when you say to somebody like, hey, you have his wedding ring, it's under your bed in a red box, and they're like, oh my God, nobody knows that. Well, that's a little different. You know what I mean? So I really refined this and practiced this from 2011 and then came out to Australia eventually. And then after COVID, started doing this full time. I always wanted to do this all the
Yeah.
time, and I never planned on this. So I'm a firefighter. I'm doing this, right? I'm doing CE5 on my days off. I'm doing readings on my days off, just helping people. Not as
Yeah.
a job, not as a business. I'm just doing readings for nothing, just trying to help people, trying to figure out whatever this thing is. I'm on the journey, man, going to the firehouse, basically living like almost like a double life because
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to know.
Yeah.
I'm like, the guys are gonna flip out, or they're gonna. Da, da, da. Well, eventually, a guy saw me at like a psychic event where a guy was reading people, and he's like, "Wait, you know this guy?" I go, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, bro, why don't you read me in the firehouse?" So after work, I go, "All right." And then that was it. Then it started to spread, and guys were just like, "Whatever, that's Raz. He's a weirdo, but we love him." You know what I mean? They're like, "Whatever, who cares?" But I had the biggest, roughest toughest guys grab me on the side or after work and say, "Hey, man, I saw something as a kid, or this person passed. Can you help me through this or navigate this?" So I'm telling you, a lot of people are affected by this, but not
Hmm.
everyone's just ready to come forward about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So whenever you're doing the reading, like what's your process? I know you said you had went and did, you went on your spiritual journey and you did like all these practices and trainings. What did that involve?
So the first time I did it, basically, I was in a room like with 30 other people that I'd never met. And it was like a psychic skill, psychic development type class. I'd never done this. So I'm like, all right, let me just give it a whirl. It was $20 for 3 hours. I never forget. I'm like,
Oh wow.
damn, that's it.
That's a
I mean,
deal.
this is in 2011, but there's 30 people in the room, and I'm like, I got to sit in the front because yeah, I got ADD, whatever it is, or I don't
Yeah,
pay
me too.
attention. But I need to, yeah, you know what I mean. So I'm like, I can't be in the back. I need to be up front. Like, what? And I want to figure this out. If it's real, let me see. So I'm in the front. I'm sitting there with my iPhone recording it. I have old recordings and stuff of me sitting there, just observing, listening. We meditated for 5 minutes, and then they were like, "All right, pair up with someone." I don't know anyone, so it don't matter. And there's like a girl, and she's like, "Okay." We're sitting knee to knee, and they're like, "Okay, just look at her and tell her what you're seeing." And I looked at her, and all of a sudden, I got a tingle at my spine, like the hair on my neck stood up.
Yeah.
It was like a little slight electrical shock, and then I started to see like black and white images above her, like a almost like a rainbow, just like an upside down
What?
U. Literally just like that. It looked like an old Charlie Chaplin film, like old black and white.
Yeah.
And it was that speed. You know how it's like, whoa, 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 real fast. So I'm like, okay, there's a car. So picture one picture, a car, then it's gone. Then I see it going down the block. I'm like, okay, it's going in reverse down a block. Literally, like in these images, she's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I go, it's hitting a telephone pole or like a tree or something, standing up. She's like, yeah. I go, and there's a left, I'm seeing someone's left leg, but it's cut or cut off, but this person's alive still, and there's like a V above him. So is his name like Vinny or Vince or something with a V? She goes, yeah, that happened exactly to my Uncle Vinny, exactly.
What?
So I'm like, all right, did someone pay this girl? Same thing. I'm skeptical, bro.
Yeah, me too.
I'm I'm working in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, as a firefighter at the time. You know what I mean? I've seen it, I've heard it. You know what I mean? I've done it. So I'm like, come on, man, someone's pulling my leg. There's got to be something. While doing this over and over and over for about 6 months, finally I was like, every person's like, yeah, 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 something's here. And I'm like, maybe there's something here. And then I had that one reading with somebody where I was like, okay, there's no way that I could have known this person and these details. It's just too specific that I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, this is real. Something's going on.
So what's a simple practice? Like say someone who's a beginner that wants to kind of jump into this kind of thing. What's like a
Yep.
simple practice they could do every day or some sort of like a meditation or something to try to open up, the mind to be able to access these abilities?
So what I do is I do transcendental meditation. Now, when I learned this, all we did was meditate for 5 minutes, and I went right into it. And I was not meditating hardcore around the clock before I got into this. When I started doing it every day, I was meditating 20 minutes a day, every day, non-negotiable. I would meditate for 20 minutes and then right after go right into this. And I just noticed the results were great as opposed to just waking up and trying to do it. I was a little groggy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, picture this. You and I are talking at 96 FM. When we meditate, we just raise our vibration to 97. They, our loved ones, the angels, aliens, whatever's out there, they're always at 98 FM. But when they see us going up to 97, they're like, hey, we got to drop down and meet them. They drop down, boom. Now we're all at 97 FM doing this. With 20 minutes, an hour later, whatever it is, we go back to where we're from. It's that simple. So, however
Yeah.
you get there, I know people that play the piano and say they get to where I go. I have a friend, Jay, in New York City, who runs and does it. He runs, and when he's running, UFOs will come or whatever,
Oh
and then he'll,
boy.
be able to, yeah. So it's getting into that flow state. So however that works for you, whatever's easy, because some people are like, hey, I can't meditate, bro. I'm like, well, play an instrument, go run, work out, try something different, play with this thing, experiment, and that's what I did over the years. I tried all sorts of things and just picked and choose what works, and now I have my own system that works for me but everyone's always a little different, you know?
And I know you've done like readings for a bunch of people including celebrities. But what celebrities have you read, and what did you find out about them?
So a couple of years ago in like 2022, I got a booking out of nowhere. It just said AH. So I'm like, I have no idea what that means. Just AH, just no like specific email or anything that would say the name. We go into the reading and it's this celebrity and he's like, when am I going back to work? And I'm like, not for 2 years. November of 2024. He's like, what? He's like, dude, that's a long time away. I gotta wait that long. I go, that's when it's going to happen. You're going to go back. Your first job is going to be in 2 years. He's like, really? I go, but it will be then. Well, fast forward 2 years, he contacts me and says, dude, I just got my first job. You have to come on my podcast because, like, we have to share this now. So that
Yeah,
guy's name is Army Hammer. And if people look up, I'm in Australia at the time in 2022. I was not aware of him or what was going on in his life, but basically he was blacklisted. They said, you'll never work again. You're going to go to jail, all these things. And I said, no, that's all going to be resolved. It's going to go away. You'll be fine. You'll be back to work. And then you're going to have a lot of opportunity after that. And it happened. Now, of course, to learn something like that and have to wait 2 years, like I talked about meditating and doing things, you
yeah,
have to do the work in between. You can't just sit and, hey, I got to wait 2 years. No, you got to live a very righteous life and, do the right thing. And then, yes, I've seen these incredible things like that happen. Rachel, you should tell too. I was on her podcast, but before I went on the podcast a couple months prior, I said, you're going to hit number one. I said, this is going to happen really soon, the next like 2 to 3 months or something like that. Fast, really quick.
yeah.
And read her, and like maybe 3, 4 weeks later, I went back on her show, and she's like, I just hit number one. So it was like, all right, hey, amazing. I just say what I see. Does it
Yeah,
always happen? Is it 100%? This is what I say. I trust what I see. After I give you or anyone the information, it's up to you what you do with that. Some people are real hardcore and they follow it, really
yeah.
rigorously. And other people are like, this is bullshit, bro. It's nonsense. Da, da, da. So, you know what I mean? I read Fireman and Cops all the time. So it's everything and everything in between. Yep.
And you're also able to, I know I had read that you're able to detect like illnesses in people as well.
I've had people come to me over the years that say they did not have anything or they weren't aware of something. I said, hey, man, what's this in your shoulder, for example? Oh, nothing, I'm fine. Or, oh, it's a little sore, but it's not a big deal. Go get it looked at. I've had enough friends, relatives come back after they've seen the doctor and they're like, oh, I have blah, blah, blah. I don't want to say certain words. I don't want the podcast to get taken down. But basically, you know what I'm saying? They'll
Yeah,
come back and say, oh my God. However, too, thank God the people that I've spoken to, they're still present. People did go to the doctor and get treatment and they work through it. So, some relatives or some people I love are a little more stubborn than others and they,
yeah.
don't want to, fire them and, I'll be fine, bro. It's like, no, dude, just go get it looked at and come back and let me know if it's wrong. And I always say, hey, if what I'm telling people is off or wrong or misdiagnosed, I'm not diagnosing, I'm just saying there's something here. What they do is, if I'm sitting with somebody, I would see a red circle. Literally, just picture something circled, like on
Yeah.
when you got something graded in high school, they'd circle it in red. They'll circle the shoulder or the neck or whatever. People have come back, hey, my thyroid, my this, or you know what I mean? But I'm not the doctor diagnosing you. I just know there's something in that area that they're pointing to. You got to get it looked at. And yeah, so whatever you want to call that. I have not cured anyone. What I will do though, and I did learn years ago,
Yeah.
Qigong. So I do
Oh yeah.
practice Qigong, and I know people that I've met that have had things come up. I've done Qigong. I've always recommended to do it after because in China, they have everyone do that gets any sort of illness or anything. And that has helped a lot of people that I personally know overcome whatever they've gone through.
So for those who don't know what Qigong is, what is it?
So for me, the easiest way to explain it is basically it's an exercise, but it's a physical and mental exercise. What practice I did was 90 minutes. They have 20-minute meditations, but you're just doing slight movements. And I've done them with people that were in wheelchairs to people that were bedbound that could not move. And if you can't even move your hands, you do the exercises mentally. There's a guy, you can look him up in California. He was a quadriplegic and he learned Qigong, and now he's up, walking fine, and he's a Qigong instructor in California.
Oh
So this
wow.
is yeah, this is no joke. You guys could Google this, look this stuff up. Fascinating case out there of how powerful this is. It's just energy. It's basically reconnecting the energy of you to the earth and what's around us naturally. Okay. And I don't want to say anything negatively about doctors, but it just seemed like my experience with some doctors, they would tell you to like do this as like last resort. Like, oh, nothing else is working. So now you're about to die. Go do
Yeah,
Qigong. But why wait till then? And I've done it with a lot of people I know closely. We did it day one. You get diagnosed, so you know something's wrong. Day one Qigong. Don't wait till day 90. Do it right away with whatever else you're going through. And it seems to help people.
it kind of reminds me of that movie. I think it was the first Doctor Strange. Whenever he messes up his hand and he goes, I forgot where he went, and they're doing all the training and all that stuff. Was it similar to
Yep.
that?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's and it's real easy. Like I said, you can just mentally do it, and then people that haven't been able that were bedbound, then they start to slightly move their hand a little, and then it's amazing how fast the energy, circulates. So people watching, if you take your hands and you just keep them like an inch or two away, if you feel a little bit of energy in between your fingers, like a little static, that's it. You just take that and you're basically working that through your body. And you can call it crazy, you can call it whatever, but I have done it. I've done it personally with people, and I've seen people overcome, oh my God, some incredible diagnoses and all sorts of things.
I think I saw a video about something like that like 2 days ago, or it might have been yesterday. This dude was like laying on the bed, and this dude he was like pushing, I guess his chi or something. He was like pushing it down his arm,
Yeah.
and the dude's stomach started like vibrating almost. And then
Wow.
this other dude, he had, same thing, but it wasn't to a person. There was like a piece of paper there, and he starts pushing this energy down, to his hand, and like the paper literally starts freaking shredding in like a whole bunch of pieces.
Wow.
Now that's pretty
Wow.
cool. That's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. It's amazing. There's all sorts of things out there. And like hey, we are in the age. This is what we are here for. This is what this is all about. 20 years ago was not like this. I wouldn't let anyone know. 10 years ago, no way. So we are here and with the internet and connecting with people.
Yeah,
Look into the stuff. Try it. Give it a whirl. If you're going through something and you're not feeling well, try something natural. That's not gonna cause you any side effect or harm you to try Qigong. It's not gonna
yeah.
harm you and make it worse. Give it a whirl. You're homesick anyway, miserable on the couch or going through. I've been through this with people. You might as well try to do a couple movements for an hour a day. You're right. What else are you doing? You feel like crap. And
Hmm.
there's stories out there of these miracles happening. So my aunt was a hospice nurse and she went in. This lady had stage 4 cancer throughout her body. They said tonight she's not going to make it. My aunt came in the next morning. She walked in. The lady was cancer free overnight. It was gone from her body. My aunt said, "What did you do?" The lady said to her, she goes, "I never stopped praying."
What?
So, so whatever works, right? That works for somebody, great. Whatever your practice is, your faith, your belief, you really believe in it, keep at it, keep doing it, because you never know. There's an expression, don't quit before the miracle happens.
Yeah. And the power of prayer too. I mean, what's your take on, doing something with so much intent and, passion that, it causes that kind of reaction to your body?
It's amazing, right? You can see a reaction or a change in someone's body from literally from prayer, from meditation, from whatever you want to call it, from enough people focusing on a good intention. They've done studies on transcendental meditation. They've gone into areas of high crime. They've meditated daily in these areas, and the crime has been reduced in half. This study, same thing. People
Oh
can look
yeah.
this up. So that's from the mind, right? So if we can get, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is what it comes down to. If we can get 1% of humanity, that's it, a percent of people out there to meditate, we can cause a change. And we have just done it with the UFO reality. People are so
Hmm.
now the next thing is now that UFO we've done this collectively, everyone listening, all of us by talking about exchange, we have done this. The next thing we can do by focusing a good intent with healing or the UFOs being a good experience, I believe we can have a good outcome with this because look at what we're doing. This is the proof now. This would have been crazy 10, 20 years. No way
Yeah.
people will be talking about this. So right there, you could see the cause of change and effect we can have on our reality. We have made UFOs a reality. It was
Hmm.
not. You know what I mean? So this is how powerful our minds are. That is what they don't want us to know, how powerful each and every one of us are if we come together as one. I love the expression, one people, one universe, which we
Yeah.
ultimately are, I believe. But if we come together, imagine everyone, or just a percent at the same time, every month, once a month, we sat and we meditated just for an hour together or 10 minutes together. Oh my God, that you can cause a change in consciousness, a shift in consciousness. It's real.
So why do you think the government wants to keep these kind of, these techniques, hidden from the population, and they want to keep them like on medication and all that stuff?
Yeah, I think they talk about the technology and they're trying to scare everyone with the scientists. I think beyond that, yes, that I don't know enough about that. I don't want to know, and that's scary to think people are
Yeah.
disappearing. People I know. I know some people that were involved with these programs that awful things have happened to that. You know what I mean? Oh my God, scientists with the technology side, the UFO side, they don't care about that. The tech side, there seems to be this interest, but I think the real big one though is the consciousness side. So I go outside with my wife, my daughter who's 6. We go outside, we sit on the beach, or we're walking my dog, and UFOs are appearing. Now, my daughter's 6. How could she do that, right? How could this be happening
Yeah.
with a 6-year-old? If I was 6 and that was, oh my God, I wish that was happening, but I wasn't trying to do that at 6. You know what I mean? So we are in a new earth, a new reality. And I think the powers to be are seeing there's a great divide coming. People are going to see the good in this, or people are going to stay, I think, stay asleep. I don't think it, I won't say cause fear, but people are just very conditioned in what they're in, and they're going to look to an authoritative figure. Hey, they're going to get us out of this. No, no, no. We will get ourselves out of this because
Yeah.
I believe, seriously, Tony, I believe if the people lead, the leaders will be forced to follow. And this UFO thing, this is the proof.
So what do you think is coming up next? Like now we're back on the topic of the UFOs and these alien files dropping. We talked about why now. What do you think is gonna come next after this?
So right now is the confirmation phase. They're just throwing out the scraps, things that have been, these weren't class. A lot of these things weren't classified already. They were out there, but basically they're just throwing things out there for normal people to look and go, okay. So this is the confirmation side, right? We're not even at the scientific side. So I think next you're going to start hearing about experiencers. There's already more podcasts with, I'm talking real people out of the shadows. Like, what? Oh, wait, hold on. I'm talking for me too. Like, if I run into neighbors or people I know that you would not think have seen or interacted with you, this is way more common than we know, than that's publicly known. I think most of us, if not all of us, are experiencers.
Yeah.
All of us. And
So
I think
it's
that's going to come,
go
I
ahead.
think that next wave will be at like a next thing is like the experiences coming out.
And then what?
And then I love, of course, I'm all about CE5, but then you're going to have the people saying that it's not good, you shouldn't do it because they're demons and all that fear mongering. And
Yeah.
then the test of this is, think about this. If UFOs are real, they're emitting all this, they're here, they're around, they have all this evidence. They have not landed yet and taken us over or wiped us out based on how we treat each other and how awful we are to one another.
Yeah.
Then what are they waiting for? Why an advanced civilization that's 500 years or 100 years or 50 years in the future? I believe they've moved past the point of harming one another because if they didn't and they had nuclear weapons, they wouldn't exist. They would have wiped each other out. So I feel they've learned from their past mistakes and they're concerned with us and they're saying, hey, don't go down the road that some other civilizations have had. You want to be here, right? We've made it. The other ETs have made it. So you need to put down your weapons and come together in peace and love. And the powers to be, the only way that they can keep their money and their funding is if this is a threat or fear based. If it's peace
Mm-hmm.
and love, no one's going to fund that. No one cares. The defense contractors don't make money.
So
That's the key.
so you don't think they're trying to keep this from the people because of the technology and maybe all these big corporations like big pharma, oil and gas
Oh, yeah.
could possibly just like crumble overnight?
Yeah. So I know Stephen Greer's talked about that forever, right? Yes, absolutely. If they have the free energy device, which they have free energy already. This is 0 points out there, and they're taking out these scientists. So they're trying to say, hey, we need to be afraid of these things. But the reality is, no. If we have the technology, openly, people go, wait, why are we using coal and oil and damaging the ozone and the environment when we could travel freely on 0 point? So I
Yeah,
think the next generation and the generation after the kid, our kids and the kids' kids, our grandkids, they, by us raising them in this consciousness and awareness, when they become adults, they're going to go, no, 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 we don't have to do that. There's
yeah,
enough young ones that they won't be afraid. We still have the old guard and all, people our age and elders that are still in the fear vibration, that they're worried about someone harming them. See, this is the thing. I don't want anything negative to happen to me or anyone, but I have
yeah,
no problem putting it all out there for the truth. You know what I mean? I
yeah. Me as
believe in
well.
this in my heart and soul. I don't want to go anywhere, but hey, if life was gone tomorrow for me, I've done everything I could do. I've pushed every envelope, and you know what's up. There's no secret to this. So I think if enough people live like that and you lay everything out there, then you're no threat because everything's out there. But if you have a secret or something to do with this stuff and you're hiding it or pushing it away, that's a dangerous way to live. And then there's a threat for you personally. I mean, you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
What's going
Yeah,
on,
I try
everyone?
to.
It's Tony Mars with the Melted Broadcast. If you or anyone you know would like to come on the show and talk about your experience, maybe you've experienced paranormal, maybe you've been studying ancient history or the forbidden knowledge all your life, maybe you're a spiritual teacher. If you'd like to come on the show, you can reach me at themeltedbroadcast@gmail.com or hit us up on the website at www.themeltedbroadcast.com. Peace.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I try to. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to start this show was to have more people like yourself and other contactees come and tell their story so other people who are, scared to come out could come out and talk about it. They'll get that courage to come out and know that there is going to be a community that's going to back them up, that, they're not going to be ridiculed or anything like that. And it's always been really important to me. That's why, again, I try to get people, you know, like us on here, and just to let them know, like, hey, it's okay, come out and talk. You might be scared, but at the same time, you're helping somebody else who's scared to talk about it and is living in fear because they're being ridiculed or scared of what's going to happen to them.
exactly. I know a lot of people that have contacted me privately and said, hey, I can't say anything. I got 5 years left on my job. I don't want to lose my pension. Da, da, da." Listen, hey, what, everyone's got their own situation. All I know is I reached a point in my life where I had enough. And I go, enough. Once a pickle, always a pickle. I can't go back.
Yeah,
So now that I know what I know, I can't go back to that old, I just can't to that old lifestyle and way. I don't have a problem with people doing that and coming to their own, but I know, and I know what I'm supposed to do now. And I meet a lot of people that are unsure, and that's okay. You figure it out. No one can tell you, hey, you have to do this. I don't mind
yeah,
asking people, hey, what do you think? What do you feel? But you got to make that decision. But when you're ready, you're listening out there, when you're ready, there's people out there to help guide you and assist you. People help me out. People, there's people around. You know how it is. There's people that give you a voice. There's
yeah,
resources. You are not alone.
yeah. I know it can be scary coming out. I never thought about coming out myself as an experiencer until we had got called to do like a live event for Houston MUFON, and we're kind of showing our evidence and stuff. And at the very end, this sweet old lady, she comes up to me, she starts helping me wrap up, the cords for the equipment and stuff, and she like looks at me in the face, and she's like, "Can I give you a hug?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course." So she gives me a hug, and then again, she looks at me. She's like, "You're so brave for coming out." And then it hits me like what I do.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
again, there was a whole bunch of people that were there, at the event who started coming up to us and telling us their story. And, it just, proved to me, doing this is, activating or helping someone else to come out. And I think it's a wonderful thing.
And sometime, right? I got so consumed, so submerged in this in 2018. I get a text message out of nowhere from a journalist saying, we're dropping an article about you tomorrow in the New York Post. Can you give a comment? And I'm like, wait, what? Who? Is this a scam?
Yeah.
About what? What are you writing? I said, send me a copy of that. I want to read it first. No, no, I can't do that. I said, what do you want me to comment on then? I have no idea what you're writing. So I called a lawyer, a contactee, Ray Hernandez from the Free Organization. I said, Ray, what do I do? I'm still a firefighter. What's going on? He's like, don't comment. We didn't. And I just had a feeling that this person was trying to ruin my
Yeah.
career and life because why would someone do that, out of nowhere? That just didn't seem right. And then I looked up the girls' old articles and they were hit pieces on cops and firefighters. I'm like, oh no, man, I'm not playing this. So I had to call the FDNY and say, hey, this is what's going on. On my days off, I do psychic readings. I, summon UFOs. They were like, okay, we don't have a problem with that. You're not doing it at work. You're doing it on your days off. You're not even charging anyone. What are you
Yeah.
doing this for free? They go, we actually need more people like you. You're doing good things on your days off. You're helping people with their grief. And they called the New York Post and they said, why are you writing this article? This guy doesn't want you to do it. Leave it alone. Well, he works for the city. They have a right to know. He doesn't want it though. Leave it alone. So they ran, they did what they did now, of course, now, right? Years later, right? 7 years later, 8 years later. It's a blessing now, but at first it was not. I did not want any part of that. Not that way. I wanted to share this and tell my story on my terms. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But sometimes life brings you a different whatever when you're not expecting it and whatever. I just dealt with it the best I could. So believe me, if you're listening, I've been through it. I've seen it. I didn't want it to end up like that, but sometimes life just happens, man. You do the best you can.
So for anybody that's trying to come out right now, or even to start practicing and getting involved with being a sidekick or trying to gain these abilities, what advice would you give them?
Find somebody out there. Like this is what I did when I got into CE5. Stephen Gray had 20 plus years experience. When I wanted to look into the psychic stuff, I found psychics that had 10, 15, 20 years experience. Because going in the firehouse, I could learn from a guy with 2 years, but I could probably learn a lot more from a guy for 20, right? So I
Yeah.
just took in whatever I could. And I recommend that if you're listening, find somebody out there who has a long, consistent track record and people can vouch for him and he's worked all over the place and seen there and done that. And with the internet, oh my God, watch all his videos, learn anything and everything from him or her that you can. If you can contact them and actually sit together with them and it's reasonable for you, hey, that's what I personally would do. I know some psychics out there can't even get a hold of or whatever, or people into this. I get it, it's not easy. But with the internet, hey, if you can learn while somebody's still here because you don't know what life's going to bring, I'd rather sit with you than one day read a book about you. You know what I mean? So hands-on experience for me personally, I do better with hands-on or
Yeah.
like face-to-face, one-on-one. I prefer one-on-one things. So yeah, just absorb, read, get everything you can. And you'll know, best way to know somebody that's doing what you think you can do, find them and say, hey, do you think I could do this? What do you think? I don't know. That's what I did. What do I do? Can I do this? Am I nuts? Am I losing it? Don't ask. I'm just saying, you maybe don't want to ask a relative or a guy at the firehouse, hey, bro, what do you think? Because they're going to make fun of you or say you're crazy. But if you know somebody that's got a lot of experience with it, they probably can help you out if they're credible. So yeah, man, this is right. The internet, it's a blessing or it could be a
Yeah.
curse. It's just how you utilize it.
And what would you say to the skeptics who are, don't believe in these kind of things and they think it's, like bull?
Yeah, so there's a lot of people out there, or I don't know a lot, but there are people that give people bad names, just like anything. People that say, what about the evil aliens? I'm like, what about the evil humans? I'm more worried about them,
Yeah.
right? I've
Oh
met
yeah.
more evil humans than more evil ETs. I met no evil ETs. I'm just saying me personally, but I know there's humans out there who have some crazy agenda. Whoa. So yeah, same thing. Remain skeptical, remain open to be cynical. I have no time for that. I don't care. They're just a waste of time. But now I've had people that were skeptical, people that mentored me, people that were around me. They would help me with anything on the psychic realm. As soon as I went to UFOs, don't ever mention my name or talk about that again. I'm like, what? So
Yeah, that's
now that
wild.
they just dropped everything, I'm like, well, what do you think now? Now I'm the crazy guy, right? Saying this for the last 16, 25 years. Hey, I've seen this, I've interacted with it. Now it's dumped out all over. So I don't like to have those gotcha moments. It is what it is. But I just believed, I knew I had these visions years ago that we would be at this point. Now that we're here, the avalanche is coming. This is nothing. This is just the base layer that they've
Yeah.
laid out. Oh my God, it's going to be amazing. So buckle in.
I'm still waiting to see the pictures of the actual beans because I mean they gotta have pictures of there was really these, these crash retrievals and body retrievals. They gotta have evidence of it. And I mean I know they probably weren't gonna drop them, the first round of files that they put out, but you think they're ever gonna release those?
So Lou Elizondo said he has seen 4K HD pictures of ET in the cockpit of a craft. So okay, just show us that, and that's it, done,
Yeah,
right?
just
That's
just
it.
one.
That's it. It's all we need, just one or 20, whatever you got, whatever I want to see. So that way, no one can say, "Oh, well, it's just no, no." You show a crystal clear thing and run it through Grok, and they go, "Hey, that's a biological being or whatever." Case closed. So eventually, I think there'll be a whistleblower or someone on the inside that will leak that. Because people, listen, eventually you're going to get our kids and our kids' that have grown up around this, that don't care about the cover up, that want
Yeah.
the truth. And that's how this is going to come out. They're just going to lay that out for everyone. So eventually, yes, I don't think I don't know if the government will come out and go, hey, they're here. But when an experiencer or a contactee has the courage to do that, yes. Now I know this too. The reason they're pushing all of this is because almost all, if not the majority of the sitting members of, and I know this for a fact, the sitting members of are contactees.
You don't think any of them are hybrids?
I'd say they definitely, yeah, they definitely are. They may not admit that, you know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
think I know this too, so because I've been involved in a couple things, over the years too, and I've heard that the ETs that they found that they've done DNA testing on, the DNA was half or partially human. So it's
Oh
interesting.
wow.
So we're like, hey, are we ETs? But it's like, wait, they are the ones coming here, or wherever they're coming from, are us or part us. So are they coming from a distant planet, or are they us in the future? Or I think
Yeah.
it's both. I think it's both.
I was gonna say, maybe it's us from the future, and they're trying to come back to. I had
Definitely.
I had read this theory that someone said that they're coming back to try to fix the timeline so we don't, go back and do or go into the future and have whatever's happening over there, done.
Yep. There's a great TV show of people listening on I think it's on Netflix still. Dark. I recommend watching that.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
it's in German, but they do the English translation. I think that's what's going on here. Just like at CERN, everyone's freaked out. No, at CERN, just like anywhere, there's good people, and then there's people that are into dark things or whatever. But I believe at CERN, well, I can tell you, I really, 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 really believe this because I know some people involved that have been through there, that they are actually trying to wake us up out of this thing, this dream we're all in. Okay,
uh,
so if we are, it feels like hazy sometimes. I've talked to people, I believe too, we're in like almost a dream state, or when we dreamed, or we were really in that state where we are all the time. And at CERN, people think they're opening up a wormhole to a, black reality. Or no, no, no. I think that they are trying to snap us out of this dream, like they're doing in the show Dark. They're trying to create a device to stop this endless reincarnation cycle that we might be in, that the gods and the Buddha and all these religious, people have talked about over and over, right? Recycling, recycling.
yeah.
I think there's something to that.
You think there's a way to break out of that cycle? I,
Oh.
I I know a lot of people talk about, they'll go through some spiritual journey and they've been recycled so many times and they've been told, this is my last incarnation. Like at one point, do you get to that level? And how do you know you're at that level?
Yeah, I know that basically through someone's birthday within numerology, I could tell you where you're at with that. It's really easy, real simple. Because basically on the day you're born, if you're a regular energy or a master energy, you might have your reincarnations done. Okay, that seems to be very effective. Okay, with me telling, hey, how do I know are my reincarnations done? Basically, based on your life path, you could figure that out. It's real easy. But I think yes, I think there is something to that. I think there's enough, at the UVA, University of Virginia, they did a 10-year study on kids that were having these past life experiences. So there's definitely something to this. I think that, yes, we are in this trap, or the soul trap they talk about with the archons,
Mm-hmm.
some sort of soul trap. I think this is a little deep, but I think who's in charge of this reality is not a good person. But I think ultimately the God going back
Yeah.
is loving and caring, and he gives free will, and there's other realities or dimensions or whatever you want to call them, where there's all sorts of different experiences to help grow and enhance your soul. And you have free will to go up or down or stay stuck, and it's your choice. And maybe there's planets where there is no free will, or no realities where there is no free will, and you literally are in a prison planet. You literally, for an experience, and to see how bad or awful that is, I don't know, because Elon Musk said it's interesting. He goes, "Hey, we're in a simulation basically, and wherever we come from, the base reality is probably pretty boring." And that's crazy, right? Thinking, is some guy sitting in a white box,
Freaking
right? Or
Elon. Yeah.
I hope not, right? I don't know about that, but that's just interesting. I love thinking about those
Yeah.
things.
I love Elon Musk. He gets so much shit from people, and I don't get it just because he had at one point backed up the president, which to each his
Yeah.
own or whatever. But I mean, I think he's an amazing dude, and what he's doing with SpaceX, trying to get us to where, regardless if it's the moon or Mars, and he probably even obviously knows something too, you know, for him being
Yes.
wanting to hurry up and get out of here. But yeah,
Definitely.
it's crazy because
Definitely.
back to the topic of you know all this stuff happening now, and people was thinking that we were the crazy ones. It was good to have a conversation yesterday with my little brother. He had texted me, "Hey, did you see the alien files?" So I called him. I'm like, hell yeah, I saw him, bro. I was like, I'm all over it. I've been going through them. I was at work. I was checking my phone every 5 minutes trying to see when they dropped. And it was funny because I told him, I was like, yeah, I was like, all that time I was talking about, all the orbs that I would see and the visitations, and that, this stuff is really happening. And I was like, who's the crazy one now?
That's right. That's right. I mean, you get it, man. Like, right? Years ago, we saw this, or we felt this, or we're being drawn. And now that it's like, it is here. We are here. It's not going to be perfect. They're not going to lay it all out day one, just like anything. It's a process. It's slow. They want to gently, right? Indoctrinate people like they always do
Yeah,
with everything. But
yeah,
there's either something coming, meaning an event, or something coming that is just undeniable that they're aware of. I don't think it's the end of the world because that doesn't benefit anyone. And if it is,
yeah,
well, it don't matter. We'll all be gone, right? What are you going to do?
yeah.
Will you flip out about it? You should be living and enjoying your life anyway. But I think this knowledge, this great knowledge is coming. This, like the new earth is that new awareness, this new knowledge that we're having. And they want to try to stay ahead of it. And they know the people, we have taken the lead. Because if it's up to the government, it does not benefit them. It makes no sense to them to reveal any of this. This is the number one cover up of all time. Always.
Hmm.
Why now? So that's anyone listening, right? Just ask yourself this. Why now? Why are they revealing this to the second? Why now? There has to be something else that's coming, or something that they're trying to manipulate it or take the narrative on. Of
Yeah.
course. Think about it.
And then now,
Doesn't invade, attack, or do anything, or no, all this stuff is planned, right? People say, oh, it's the listen, I'm just saying there's some other ulterior reason, even with the all this stuff about UFOs all over there. Of course,
oh yeah,
this is very important technology. Yeah, he was into reverse engineering and technology and all sorts of, experimentations, and there's a lot to do with this stuff. But I think
no way.
ultimately, yeah, he was really into this subject. Oh yeah.
I did not know
I'm
that.
I don't know. I want to be clear. I don't know him, but I lived in Brighton Beach, which is next. Not at all.
Yeah,
No, I don't roll that way, man. It's not my thing. So
yeah.
if I listen, where I grew up, if there was a word around that somebody was acting like that, we would have handled it.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
it. This
over
guy
there.
wouldn't be around. So I don't know this guy was or who he was around, but where I grew up, if there was a rumor or somebody was mentioned a few times, or a few got to a few hundred or dozens of they did it it'd be over. You know what I mean? We'd have to handle it. That's what you do. You take
Yeah,
care of it. You don't wait. So I don't know what's going on with all that stuff, but yeah, this whole UFO thing is wrapped up in there too.
that's wild. It's crazy that you have these figures, like him that are, studying these things, especially people, up there with all that big money, even,
Yeah.
Adolf, same thing,
Yep.
studying all this stuff and trying to construct, I think they called it the bell, that craft,
Yep.
and people
Yep.
people still say, over in our Antarctica that they're over there. You have those, what do they call them? The original name for the UFOs, they call them the Foo Fighters,
Yep. Yep.
and it's just wild to me. But
It's like the band Foo Fighters, right? Where do they get their
yeah,
name?
yeah, that's where they
It's
got the
right.
name
It's from
from.
people. I tell people like, really, that's what it is. I'm like, yeah, dude, Google it. It's a UFO. Of course, that's what they said,
Yeah,
and them too. So a little cool thing here: the original drummer from the Foo Fighters, I'm friends with. You can look him up, William Goldsmith.
no
He's an
way.
experiencer.
What?
He Look up William Goldsmith. He's an experiencer. He's put his UFO videos up on Facebook. William Goldsmith. Reach out to him. Tell him you know me. You're friends with me. He's a great guy. I've known him many, many years. He is amazing. He was one of the original drummers in Foo Fighters. Yep, William Goldsmith. He was in
That's
Taking
awesome.
Back. Like he was in a bunch of bands. You'll see, amazing, great guy. But he's a contactee. He's shared his UFO videos. He's out there. So you would not believe, man, some of the people that have contacted me, some people that you're seeing on TV, like, hey, bro, don't ever mention my name. But, oh my God, dude, and now, bro, now, like, forget it. People are coming out of the now they're out of the woodworks and mainstream TV wants to talk about it. And years ago, you couldn't even tell them the time of day with this. They'd laugh at you. A couple weeks ago, I was on Fox News. They asked me about aliens. What about aliens? They asked me before all this stuff was out. And I
Yeah,
just said, I think they're very concerned. They're very concerned. We need to do better. And they're really concerned with the way we treat each other. And I don't know if we'll get this official, just the reality of disclosure, the real, that it's peaceful and loving. There'll be a
yeah.
narrative, but they're very concerned. And, the people have to do what we got to do if we want to live in cosmic peace. But yeah, man, it's great. I love, love, love talking about this all
and
day
and
and
it's
night.
it's so crazy, what a coincidence that is coming out right before Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day movie.
Yeah, that's wow. I just thought about that. There's no coincidence. They know
Yep,
exactly what they're doing. They're ramping it up, and then whatever is in there. Oh, want to hear a great, real Spielberg story?
yep,
My daughter's godmother, who's one of my best friends, Maureen Seberg. Look her up. She's an experiencer. She wrote a couple great books about synesthesia. Maureen Seberg. She was a journalist for the Staten Island Advance. For, she can see colors outside the normal spectrum of light.
yeah.
So she created a makeup and lipstick line out of it.
No way.
Unbelievable for like Revlon. Amazing. So she when she was a journalist, she interviewed Spielberg's mom. She interviewed his mom. She was about to leave. Spielberg's mom turned to her and said, "Do you remember the scene in E.T. where the boy goes into the closet and puts his finger, to E.T. in the closet? Goes in the closet. E.T.'s in the closet. They have an experience." She goes, "Yeah." Spielberg's mom said to Maureen, "That really happened to Steven when he was a kid, a young boy."
What? No way. And this
Now, at
this
the
is from his
time,
mother.
from his mother
Ah, that's
to
great.
a woman I trust with my life. She would not lie. There's no way. Why would a real journalist, once again, at the time, she goes, I didn't feel it was appropriate to put that in because it was after the interview. She's ethical. She's not a scumbag. You know what I mean? Like some
Yeah,
journalists. So she said it after the interview. She goes, I just left it alone. Well, this is years later. His mom has passed. He's doing all these things. So you can look this up too. She now openly has shared this on Facebook and shared the exact quote she gave her. But some people say, does he know the truth? I don't think his mom would lie, right? What
yeah.
mom would lie?
And it's crazy that
So
you
who
mentioned that
knows?
because I had heard a story similar to that where they were showing the ET movie, and I think Stephen King had stood up. I mean, Steven Spielberg had stood up or whatever, and in the middle of the meeting, it was like, "That's exactly how it happened." And it was like,
Wow.
yeah, and it was, I forgot who it was. It was like government officials and some other people that were there that he was showing it to, and he just stood up in the middle of the whole thing and just said that. People were like, what the fuck?
Wow. Oh, I love it, man.
Yeah,
That's
it's good
amazing.
stuff.
He knows. He knows. He's had access to this. Jacques Vallée, they were involved with the Close Encounters,
Yeah,
the
of the
old one, the
third
third. Like,
kind.
come on, man. They know. They know. I get it. Just like Elon, when you sign an NDA, you can't talk. I get it. It is what it is. Not a big deal. You can't talk. I get it. For whatever reason, there's a reason we don't know. We're not ready to handle whatever nonsense they're gonna say. I don't have an NDA, thank God. So that's why I'm sharing whatever, and I wouldn't
Yeah,
sign one of those things. Get out of here. Stop, man. That's nonsense. But if you want to do whatever you got to do, do what you got to do. But that's one of the great realities with this. There's a great book too, right out right now. People should check this out. I believe it's Contact and Control. John Majorowski, a guy I know, an experiencer, wrote a great book about the control mechanism behind this. So
oh,
there is
okay.
basically, yeah, you should check him out.
What's that
John
book called?
Majorowski. I believe it's Contact and Control. So myself, I've been, you know, uh, part of this. I didn't know at the time this is what was going on, but basically there are Department of Defense contractors that are taking experiencers' DNA and they're not telling us what they're doing with it.
I believe
So
they're
what do
doing
they
that.
want?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I was gonna
right.
say I believe they're doing that to a buddy of mine. I don't want to say his name, but he's been having, things like that happen to him for the longest time, and they'll
Yep.
literally smoke out his house. His whole
Oh
family
man.
will pass out, and then they'll wake back up and everything's like normal. And then he'll have, like all black cars at the end of the street, just watching them, drones coming around the house. And I truly believe he's part of one of these programs as well.
Yeah. I shared what I felt was the truth, and which I know is the truth. Tom DeLonge retweeted what I said in an interview. Okay.
Oh, no
Tom
way.
DeLonge retweeted this. So Tom DeLonge, and he kept it up. It's still up. So why would he share that if it was not true? Of course, right? Why? That doesn't make sense. So I said basically, there are Department of Defense people and CIA contractors, and I named them. And I said, and they are trying to create a drug to turn on or off people's experiences or abilities. So people that are having contact or having psychic abilities that don't want them, they want to create a drug to stop it. So I don't want to deal with that. It's too much. Or to activate it. And of course, what they're going to do ultimately, like, let's come on. Of course, what they're going to do is, of course, they're going to give this to soldiers. Of course. What do
Yeah.
you, of course. They're going to give it to special ops. They probably are
Yeah.
already. Now, I've shared this for years from day one when I was told to me what they were doing. And then all of a sudden now in the last year, when I mentioned it, people started throwing a fit. Don't ever say that again. I never said that. No, you did. Whatever. I know the truth. Listen, if you said it or you don't want someone to know, just leave it alone. Don't even
Yeah.
say anything. Who cares? Listen, if someone said, I don't even care. You say whatever you want. I don't care. But I know I struck a chord with those people because why would Tom DeLonge retweet it? So
Yeah.
John wrote a book about this whole control mechanism. Basically, there are people in the government contractors that want to keep, they don't care about the truth or not truth, believer or non-believer. They just want to make sure you're one of them and keep you stuck there.
Yeah.
Right? That's
Yeah.
crazy, but I believe it. They want you to, you're a great. You don't believe? Great. They don't care about, they just, as long as you're one, you're on board and they want to keep you stuck. And that's messed up, man. I don't believe in that. I feel you should want to know the truth, whatever that is, of what's going on. And if you're being lied to, I don't believe in
Yeah.
that. I don't play that stuff.
Yeah. The truth with that, aliens, hidden technology, ancient medicine, ancient
Yep.
practices. I think we need to know, they need to tell us all that. If not tell us, at least show us where to look.
I believe the truth will set you free, right? The truth will set you free, right? If you allow it to, it can set you free. But if you're being told a lie, or hey, it's this, then no, it's that. You're being, sent around. I don't like that. No, man, don't lie to me. Just whatever it is, okay, no problem. You have an agenda or whatever you got to do for whatever reason. Great. You're experiencing, you're experimenting. But backdoor, you have a deal with big. Talked about big pharma. Some of these guys have deals with big pharma and they don't want them knowing, hey, the secret's out of what we're doing. We're going to take
Yeah.
highly psychic people, see what in their DNA is different than the normal person. Take all of that, mix it together, and then God knows do what with. Because listen, we're not stupid. Like, it makes sense. Of course, they would use it to weaponize it. Of
Yeah,
course.
of
Why
course.
wouldn't they? If they could have soldiers in the field that were highly psychic and intuitive going into battle, that would be
Oh yeah,
advantageous.
that would be crazy. And I
Now, they
mean,
don't
did
want,
now go ahead.
I was going to say they don't want Russia or anyone to know that, but
Oh
of
nah.
course they're going to do that. They probably have already. Now, and if they can do whatever with this UFO phenomena too, right? And not let people know the real truth. Hey, make people think it's aliens, but maybe some of them are, us or what, the whole disinfo thing. So, yeah, man, I don't play that. Like, just listen, tell the truth, man. Because listen,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you want to live like that or whatever. At the end of the day, you're gonna pass. You're gonna go somewhere. You're gonna have to deal with that. That's all I'm gonna say, man. If you are lying to people or tricking them or whatever, that's on you, man. That's all I know. It's on you.
Yeah, I definitely I mean I don't know what's there in the afterlife, what it is or where we go, but the whole thing with the reincarnation, hopefully I'm done. I would like to experience the cosmos or whatever's next after this. I always
Yep.
think back to, the Emerald Tablets of Thought and in the beginning, whenever he talks about when he comes out of body and he's, floating through spaces and, watching civilizations grow and, crumble and seeing these advanced civilizations that are building these big cities of rose gold and I don't know, it's beautiful. And at some point I want to be able to, to do that, see that, experience it, rather than come back and oh damn, I gotta go to work. I gotta wake up at 3 in the morning and be at work. We gotta do a 16-hour shift tomorrow, and it's wild.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
But all right, Andrew, I know you're kind of pressed for time right now, so I'll let you get back to it, man. But I really appreciate you coming on the show. I think this was a freaking amazing conversation, man. I love talking to you. You're freaking awesome. And you
Absolutely.
know, but before you leave, if you want to tell anybody anything, and if you want to plug in where people could reach you at,
Oh yeah. Easiest way to reach me, my website, it's www.psychicfirefighter.com. You can find me there, all my info there, videos, all my UFO videos I share on all social media, same thing, Instagram, Facebook, Psychic Firefighter. I think I'm the only one still. So all the UFO stuff is out there, psychic stuff, anything and everything in between. I'm pretty, easy to get a hold of. Yeah, man, everyone that's listening, just you know, try your best to stay grounded and, have fun with this. A lot of people are going to overreact. Some people are not going to
hmm
care. You know how it is. Some people get
yep,
excited. Some people won't care. Listen, go have fun with this. This is a time we've all been waiting for. This is a time to open the conversation up. I can't wait for Christmas to go, back to New York and speak with my family about this now because last time they were all over this subject. And
yeah,
now that I've said, hey, this is what's coming, and now it has happened. Oh my God, what a time to be alive. This is amazing. So no, I want to thank you and everyone that's helps you out with your show and all your listeners and all your support. All of us listening, whether you realize this or not, we have all played a vital role to be in this exact moment. So let's help create a better future for our kids. Okay. And that is why I do what I do. If I wasn't doing this exact thing in this exact moment, to me personally, I'd be a fraud to my daughter who's 6 by
yeah,
not telling her, hey, if you're doing something and you're helping people and you love what you do, oh my God, I hope you find that because most people I meet in life aren't doing that. They're not happy and they're not finding what it is they do. I've been fortunate enough to do some amazing things and help a lot of people. And I am right here, right now, at this exact moment, like I
yeah.
envisioned. And I can't wait to see what comes next.
That's awesome, man. Well, thank you again for coming on, Andrew. We'll talk to you next time, man.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me on. You take
Yes,
care.
sir. Have a good one.
People say that I'm one of the greats, I'm the one that you love to hate. Shake 'em up like a quake, pop your feelings and turn to dispose 'em like haters I throw away. I'm forever blessed, got the spirit that's holy controlling me, I ain't gotta coordinate. I just sit back and buckle my bells and I'm ready to blaze in the stars of my destination. Melted, broadcast, open vision. Melted, broadcast, open vision. Melted, broadcast, open vision. Melted, broadcast, open